Hey everyone, I'm Robert, a real estate agent. This story is about a simple dispute that exposed a massive hidden fraud. If you love it, comment Spotify for the full audiobook. The letter informing me that my niece, Chloe, was permanently barred from the Laurel Creek community pool arrived on thick, cream-colored stationery. It was signed with flourish by Maya Green, HOA president. At the time, all I knew of Maya was her penchant for white linen pants and a cloud of cloying gardenia perfume that seemed to announce her arrival seconds before she did. I had no idea that within 6 months, I would know the routing number for her private business account, the exact kickback percentage she received from the overpriced landscaping contract, and the digital paper trail that would lead a state prosecutor to file charges of wire fraud, embezzlement, and conspiracy against her. This metamorphosis from a grieving widow seeking solitude into a determined, forensic-minded adversary wasn't a path I'd chosen. It was a road paved for me by Maya Green's own arrogance. She made a single catastrophic miscalculation in her quest for absolute control over our quiet Colorado Springs subdivision. She decided to weaponize petty bureaucracy against a retired insurance fraud investigator who had just buried her husband and had absolutely nothing left to lose. My name is Elena Vega. 15 months ago, my world shrank to the four walls of a hospice room. After a brutal 2-year battle with pancreatic cancer, my husband, James, a gentle high school history teacher with a laugh that could fill a stadium, slipped away in his sleep one September morning. The home we'd shared for 26 years, once filled with the smells of his terrible coffee and the sound of his guitar, became a museum of echoes. Every room held a ghost. The silence was a physical weight. On the advice of a well-meaning but ultimately useless grief counselor, I decided on a geographic cure. I needed a blank slate, a place without memories etched into the grain of the hardwood floors. I found Laurel Creek Meadows online. The photos showed neat rows of craftsman-style homes built between 2018 and 2020, nestled against the foothills. The centerpiece was a resort-style community pool, a stunning turquoise rectangle that sparkled under the Rocky Mountain sun. It looked like a postcard for a peaceful suburban retirement. I sold our old house, packed my life into boxes, and bought the corner lot with a premium, unobstructed view of that glittering water. I paid nearly $70,000 over the asking price. At the time, I thought it was the cost apiece. For the first few months, it worked. I retired from my 22-year career investigating complex insurance fraud schemes for a major firm. My days have been spent unraveling lies constructed by intelligent, greedy people, and I was profoundly tired of human deception. In Laurel Creek, I followed every rule. I brought my trash cans in by 7 p.m. I kept my lawn at the prescribed 3.5 inches. Every morning, as dawn pinked the sky, I would sit at my kitchen table with a mug of strong black tea. James was a coffee drinker and watched the first rays of sun ignite the surface of the pool. I'd listen to the methodical splash and glide of the dedicated lap swimmers, their rhythm a kind of secular meditation. For precious minutes each day, the hollow ache in my chest would ease. Then summer arrived, and with it, my salvation and my catalyst, my niece, Chloe. She's 17, my younger sister Sophia's only child from Albuquerque. Sharp as a surgical scalpel, fiercely kind, and bound for Stanford's pre-med program in the fall. James and I, consumed by careers and then by illness, never had children. Chloe, with her quick wit and quiet empathy, became the daughter of my heart. She arranged to spend the summer with me, working part-time at a charming independent bookstore in old Colorado City, and, though she'd never say it, keeping her lonely aunt company. For a few weeks, it was perfect. We'd make dinners together. She'd tell me about the books she was shelving, and I'd feel glimmers of the person I used to be. The trouble began, as it often does, on a day of perfect, mundane happiness. It was a blisteringly hot Thursday in July. Chloe had finished her morning shift and invited 2 of her co-workers from the bookstore, Leo and Sam, over for a swim. They were good kids, polite, funny, the type who called me Miss Vega and helped clear the plates without being asked. They'd been in the water for maybe an hour, the air filled with a harmless soundtrack of teenage laughter and the occasional competitive cannonball, when the atmosphere changed. A wave of overpowering gardenia scent hit me first. Then I saw her, Maya Green descended the pool deck steps like a queen visiting a provincial outpost. She was, as always, impeccably turned out in ivory athleisure wear, her chestnut bob perfectly smooth despite the humidity. In her hand was a sleek tablet, a modern-day scepter. She moved with purpose directly toward our lounge chairs. "Pardon the interruption," she announced, her voice carrying across the water with practiced projection. Several heads turned. "I'll need to see the approved guest passes for these 3 individuals." I blinked, genuinely confused. "Guest passes? I'm sorry. I wasn't aware we needed them for daytime swimming." Maya's smile was a thin, humorless line. "It's all in the welcome packet, Ms. Vega. HOA Covenant, Section 4, Paragraph B. Excessive guest usage, defined as more than 2 guests per household per week, requires prior registration and issuance of a temporary pass from the board. It's a matter of liability and pool capacity." I kept my voice calm, the tone I'd use 1,000 times with hostile witnesses. "I understand. These are Chloe's friends from work. Chloe is my niece. She's living with me for the summer. Could I register them now as extended visitors?" Maya consulted her tablet, tapping the screen with a manicured finger. "The process requires a 72-hour review period. I'm afraid the rules are quite clear. No exceptions." She looked up, her gaze sweeping over Chloe, Leo, and Sam, who had fallen silent in the water. "Pool privileges for Lot 22 are hereby suspended, pending a full compliance review by the board." A profound, uncomfortable silence settled over the pool area. The other residents, families I had nodded to for months, suddenly found immense interest in their novels or their children's swim goggles. The social ostracism was instant and palpable. Chloe's face flushed with humiliation. The boys quickly climbed out, gathering their towels with downcast eyes. Maya stood her ground, a satisfied glint in her eye as she made a note on her tablet. The message was not subtle. "Asterisk, this is my domain. Cross me, and you swim alone. Asterisk." That evening, an official notice was posted on the community's private Facebook page and the physical bulletin board by the mailboxes. "Pool privileges suspended. Lot 22. Pending compliance review." The digital version was signed with Maya's full title. Maya Green, President, Laurel Creek Meadows HOA Board of Directors. The scheduled compliance hearing arrived via certified mail 3 days later. It gave me 48 hours notice and was set for 7:30 p.m. on a Tuesday. The date slammed into my chest. It was James's birthday. I had planned to drive up to the mountain lookout he loved, to sit with a thermos of tea and talk to him about Chloe, about how proud he would be of the young woman she'd become. Now, I was ordered to defend my right to have family over for a swim. Anger, a feeling I thought grief had burned out of me, ignited in my veins. It was a cold, clear, and focused anger. That night, after Chloe went to bed, I did what I was trained to do. I opened my safe and pulled out the thick binder of HOA documents I'd signed at closing. I made a fresh pot of tea, sharpened a pack of highlighters, and began to read, not as a compliant homeowner, but as an investigator. I started with the bylaws, then moved to the original covenants, conditions, and restrictions, CC and RS, the foundational charter for Laurel Creek. Hours ticked by. The legalese was familiar terrain. And there, on page 52 of the CC and RS, under Community Enjoyment and Familial Accommodation, I found my first weapon. It stated, "The association shall make reasonable accommodation for familial gatherings, multi-generational households, and informal social events among residents and their bona fide guests, recognizing these activities as central to community spirit." Maya's rigid 2 guests per week rule wasn't just strict. It directly contradicted the community's founding principle. Furthermore, the notice of the hearing violated the bylaw's clear requirement of a 7-day minimum notification for any disciplinary proceeding. Her certified letter had given me 48 hours. She was breaking her own rules. The hearing was held, absurdly, in Maya's own sunroom. The smell of eucalyptus and lemon polish was overwhelming. The board members present were Ben Carter, a retired middle school principal, and the vice president who looked deeply uneasy, Layla Patel, the board secretary, a software engineer with a piercing gaze who took notes on a laptop with ferocious intensity, and 2 other members who seemed to study the pattern on Maya's rug. Maya's husband, Richard, a county planning commissioner, was notably absent. Maya opened the proceedings not with discussion, but with a PowerPoint presentation. I am not exaggerating. Slides titled, "Preserving Our Investment," and the correlation between rule adherence and property values flickered on a large screen. Interspersed were photos of minor infractions around the neighborhood, a faded flag, a slightly overgrown hedge. The subtext was clear. Chaos is a single violation away. When she finished, she turned to me with a saccharine smile. "Ms. Vega, the floor is yours to address the noted violations." I stood, placing my simple tab folder on the glass table. Before we address any alleged violations, I have to note significant procedural irregularities with this hearing itself. I saw Ben Carter sit up straighter. First, the HOA bylaws, section 8.2, state that official board hearings must be held in a common, neutral area accessible to all residents, unless an emergency precludes it. A private residence does not qualify. Maya waved a hand. The clubhouse was booked. We're making do. Second, I continued, the bylaws require a 7-day written notice for a compliance hearing. I received 48 hours via certified mail. This violates due process, as outlined in our governing documents. We felt the matter was urgent, Maya said, her smile tightening. Third, I pressed on, opening my folder. The alleged excessive guest usage citation appears to violate the original CC and RS of this community. I read the clause about reasonable accommodation for familial gatherings allowed. My niece, a bona fide member of my household for the summer, had 2 friends over. This falls squarely within the spirit and letter of this foundational provision. Has the CC&R been amended by a community-wide vote? The silence was thick. Layla Patel stopped typing and looked directly at Maya, her eyebrows raised. Ben Carter cleared his throat. I don't recall a vote on that specific provision, Maya. Maya's composure cracked for a second. That's an interpretive clause, Elena. It's not a free pass. Our current guest policy was established by the Board for Safety and Order. A board policy cannot override the CC and RS, I said quietly. Only a supermajority vote of the homeowners can do that. Here is where Maya Green made her fatal, personal error. Cornered on procedure, she shifted tactics. She leaned forward, her expression morphing into one of condescending concern. Perhaps we're all missing the larger picture here. Elena, we know you've been through a terrible trauma. Losing your husband, it's unimaginable. Sometimes in grief, people can find even simple rules overwhelming. Maybe what you're reacting to isn't our community guidelines, but the stress of your new situation. The room went deathly still. The cruel genius of the attack was its plausible deniability. She was just expressing concern. But the implication that I was an unhinged widow causing trouble hung in the scented air. I felt a chill settle over me, colder and sharper than the anger. This was no longer about pool rules. This was a declaration of war. I slowly closed my folder. Thank you for your concern, Maya, and for your time, everyone. I believe I have a clear understanding of the situation now. The vote was a foregone conclusion for the one to uphold the suspension, with Ben offering a quiet, I dissent. But as I walked back to my house under the Colorado stars, I felt a strange sense of clarity. Maya had revealed her core truth. Her authority was built on intimidation, not integrity. And she had just personally insulted a woman whose entire career was built on dismantling facades. The grieving widow receded. The investigator stepped forward. The next phase was what I called the documentation. I installed small, discreet security cameras at the corners of my property. Perfectly legal in Colorado. I began a log. Every time one of Maya's newly formed Neighborhood Integrity Patrol cars, residents she deputized with clipboards and cameras, slow rolled past my house, I noted the time, date, and license plate. Photographs were taken of my garbage cans, my lawn, my window boxes. I received printed notices for infractions that were laughable. Gardening hose visible on side of house must be coiled in approved receptacle. Front porch light bulb appears to be non-LED model, violates Green Initiative bylaw. The harassment was designed to be exhausting, to make me bend. Instead, It provided a time-stamped pattern of targeted behavior. In my career, I'd learned that bullies who feel unchallenged always escalate, and escalation creates evidence. A week after the hearing, Layla Patel approached me on one of my morning walks. She fell into step beside me, her voice low. "Your point about the CC and RS was legally sound," she said. "It's bothered me since the meeting." She hesitated, glancing around. "It's not just the rules, Elena. I'm the secretary. I see the financial statements. The numbers for our community amenities, they don't reconcile. The invoices don't match the budgets. I've asked questions, but the answers are vague." A spark ignited. "What kind of discrepancies?" "Large ones," was all she would say, but it was enough. The puzzle had a new piece. Follow the money. While Maya played enforcer, I began the deep dive. I started with public property records, then business licenses. Maya Green was listed as a principal of Maya Green Designs, LLC. Cross-referencing dates, I discovered her LLC was formed just weeks before the Laurel Creek development broke ground. A little more digging through county contractor databases showed that Maya Green Designs had been awarded the exclusive interior staging and design consultation contract for the entire Laurel Creek development by Aspen Ridge Builders, the developer. Exclusive contracts in real estate developments aren't unusual, but the scale of this one, for a community of this size, it reeked of a sweetheart deal. I needed the financials Layla alluded to, but getting them officially was a battle. So I started with what was public. The original HOA budget file with the county. It listed a line item of $2.3 million for community amenities construction and landscaping, pool, clubhouse, playground, hardscape. Then, using Chloe's deft skills with social media and community forums, we subtly connected with a few of the original homeowners. One, a retired contractor, mentioned over coffee that the pool shell looked like a standard prefab model, not the custom job they'd been promised. Another grumbled about the clubhouse foundation work being done in a hell of a hurry with a crew I've never seen before. The picture was blurry but troubling. Then Maya overplayed her hand spectacularly. Chloe, trying to be diplomatic, had waited for the officially designated family swim hours to use the pool with Leo. They were reading on lounge chairs, not even swimming, when Maya arrived with 2 patrol members. "You are in violation of a standing suspension," Maya's voice rang out. "You need to leave the premises immediately." Chloe, mortified, complied, but Maya wasn't done. She followed him up the street to my driveway, her voice rising with each step, accusing me of flouting authority and corrupting community youth. This time, I was ready. I stood on my porch, phone held casually but recording. "Maya," I said, my voice calm in the face of her theatrics, "can you cite the specific bylaw that authorizes a blanket, indefinite pool suspension for a homeowner in good standing who has paid all dues? This is about respect. Elena, respect for community that welcomed you." She snapped, unaware my phone was capturing every word for the HOA board's ears later. The incident was a final straw for Ben Carter. He called an emergency board meeting himself. I presented the recording and my log of targeted harassment. The vote to lift the pool suspension was 3-2, a seismic shift. Maya sat in furious silence. Afterward, as people filed out, Layla brushed past me and slipped a thumb drive into my jacket pocket. That night, I opened the files. Spreadsheets, scanned invoices, bank statements. It was a treasure trove. I cross-referenced the original $2.3 million amenity budget with the actual contractor invoices from Aspen Ridge Builders. The totals didn't match. Not even close. The concrete work, the pool insulation, the clubhouse framing, line item after line item was inflated by 30, 40, sometimes 50%. The total actual cost, as near as I could calculate from the invoices, was approximately $1.5 million. $800,000 had simply evaporated. And then I found a connection. Layla had included bank statements for the HOA's operating account. Large disbursements to Aspen Ridge Builders correlated, within days, with substantial deposits into the account for Maya Green Designs, LLC. The deposits weren't labeled kickback. They were consulting fees, project management bonuses, staging overages. But the timing was a smoking gun. The crowning jewel was a PDF buried in a subfolder, a scan printout of an email. The subject line, revised amenity pricing confidential. It was from the project manager at Aspen Ridge Builders to Maya. The text was careful but clear. Per our discussion, the revised budget allocations for Phase 2 amenities have been finalized and attached. Your firm's additional facilitation fee of 15% of the total allocation has been factored into the revised HOA cost schedule. We appreciate our partnership. My investigator's heart beat with a cold, familiar rhythm. This wasn't just bullying. This was fraud. She was stealing from every homeowner in Laurel Creek, padding the developer's profit and lining her own pockets by inflating the costs we all paid for through our dues and initial fees. Confronted with this, Maya launched her nuclear option. She filed an official complaint with the El Paso County Code Enforcement Division, alleging unpermitted structural modifications and illegal commercial use of residential property at my home. She requested an immediate inspection. The date was set for a Monday afternoon, the Monday of Chloe's graduation party. She knew. The entire neighborhood knew about the small gathering of family coming to celebrate Chloe. Maya's move was calculated for maximum public humiliation. At 2 p.m., as aunts, uncles, and cousins gathered in my backyard, a county truck emblazoned with code enforcement pulled into my driveway. Maya's white SUV parked right behind it. She got out, standing arms crossed, a spectator to her own spectacle. The inspector, a weary-looking man named Gary with a kind face, approached apologetically. "Sorry to interrupt, ma'am. We've had a complaint." "I understand," I said. "Let me get my documentation." I disappeared inside and returned not with a single permit, but with a large plastic file box. I set it on the patio table with a thud. "Original site plan, county approved," I said, pulling out the first tube. "Building permit, electrical permit, plumbing permit, final inspection certificate, certificate of occupancy." I laid each one out in order. I also have the receipts for the upgraded windows and the energy-efficient HVAC system, which were pre-approved by the Architectural Review Committee, chaired by Ms. Green, before installation. Gary blinked, then began his inspection. He checked the electrical panel, measured room dimensions, examined the deck footings. Chloe, seeing the scene, did what any Gen Z kid would do. She started a discreet narrated live stream from her phone. "So my aunt's HOA president called code enforcement on her graduation party," she whispered to her followers. "Let's see how this plays out." For an hour, Gary worked. Maya lingered at the edge of my property, growing visibly agitated as he found nothing. Finally, he closed his clipboard. "Ms. Vega, this is one of the most compliant properties I've ever inspected. Everything is not just up to code. It's exemplary. There are 0 violations here." Maya couldn't contain herself. "That's impossible. Did you check the garage conversion? The basement egress?" Her voice was shrill. Gary turned to her, his professional patience wearing thin. "Ma'am, there is no garage conversion. The basement has 2 approved egress windows, both to spec. The information in your complaint appears to be factually incorrect." The defeat on Maya's face was pure, uncut fury. The live stream captured it all. As the inspector left and Maya sped away, my family erupted in supportive chatter, but my mind was elsewhere. During the inspection, while comparing the original architectural plans to my home, I'd noticed something. The plan details for the community clubhouse's foundation didn't match the simpler, cheaper-looking slab I'd seen during construction. The discrepancy between promised and built was literally etched in concrete. The game was now in the end game. Layla, Ben, and I formed an unofficial alliance. We compiled a dossier. The financial discrepancies, the email, the bank records, the pattern of harassment, the fraudulent code complaint. We presented it not to the HOA board, but directly to the Economic Crimes Unit of the District Attorney's Office. We also filed a civil suit on behalf of the homeowners for breach of fiduciary duty. The DA assigned Detective Maria Rodriguez, a no-nonsense woman with a focus on white-collar crime. Subpoenas flew. HOA records, Aspen Ridge Builders contracts, Maya's personal and business bank accounts, all were seized. Maya's final act was a spectacular meltdown. At the next mandatory public HOA meeting, required by state law once a criminal investigation is opened, she tried one last performance before a packed room of neighbors and a local news crew that had picked up Chloe's viral stream. She spoke of being victimized by a vendetta, but when I was given the floor, I simply connected my laptop to the projector. The first slide showed two numbers, $2 $300,000 budgeted, and $1 $500,000 actual costs. The difference, $800,000, was highlighted in pulsing red. A ripple of shock went through the crowd. This, I said, my voice steady, is the amount overcharged for our pool, our clubhouse, our playground. This money came from our purchase prices and our dues. I advanced the next slide. Scans of the email about revised pricing and the bank transfer timelines. This is how it was done. Maya jumped to her feet, her lawyer trying to pull her back. Those are lies. Taken out of context. She's a bitter woman destroying this community because I enforce a rule. But the crowd wasn't listening to her anymore. They were looking at the numbers. Detective Rodriguez then stood and calmly informed the room that the district attorney had filed felony charges against Maya Green and the principals of Aspen Ridge Builders for fraud, embezzlement, and conspiracy. The collapse was total. In the ensuing months, Maya took a plea deal to avoid a trial, agreeing to full restitution of $847,000, the stolen principal plus interest and penalties. Her business license was revoked. Her husband resigned from his county commission seat. Aspen Ridge Builders was blacklisted from municipal contracts. The money returned to Laurel Creek. We held a town hall and voted. We used a large portion to completely waive HOA dues for 2 years, providing immediate financial relief. Another chunk funded long-delayed improvements, a shaded picnic area, a dog park, a community garden. The remainder established the James Vega Memorial Scholarship for local students pursuing careers in education or public service. Chloe, heading to Stanford, was our first honorary recipient. At the dedication ceremony for the new garden, with Chloe beaming beside me, I finally felt the peace I'd originally sought. It hadn't come from avoiding conflict, but from confronting corruption. Maya tried to use rules to divide and control. In the end, her tyranny taught us how to build a true community, one where transparency is the rule, accountability is enforced, and a retired investigator with a broken heart can still remember how to fight for what's right. The quiet we earned wasn't the silence of fear, but a profound calm that follows justice.